Google wants to be a new wireless carrier. iPad Mini is here. Is it worth the $300 price tag? And may the force be with Mickey. As Disney buys Star Wars. It's here. Windows 8 is finally released. Is it worth the operating system? Is it worth it? All that and more on Tech for Dummies. Makes technology fun again. I am your host, Darren Quick. Follow me on Facebook and page for Tech for Dummies show, and email me on techfordummies@gmail.com. Guess what, guys? We finally got a co-host. His name is Dustin, and Dustin, please let everybody know a little more about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Dustin. You can follow me on Twitter at dtanner2194, and I've been on this channel a few times. I've had a show of my own, and I'm happy to be here with you today, hosting Tech for Dummies. So what do we got for stuff? You got?
Okay.
We'll start.
Now on to some tech news. Well, started off, Google wants to become a wireless carrier to compete with
all the other big wireless carriers?
Pretty much. All the Verizon and AT&T. I pretty much think it's okay.
Well, the thing about Google is that Google is trying to conquer everything at this point, They might be trying to take over the world. I don't know. Because, I'm interested to see how this works out. Because there are a lot of areas that, Google can't do what Verizon can do, and will they be able to get caught up to Verizon and AT&T? Because Verizon and AT&T have had a ton of time to get ahead to do the 4G, and how are you going to break in? I would be really interested to see how this takes on, because they also came out with their own Chrome laptop or something like that.
Yeah,
they came out with their own laptop, their own operating system. No, it was only like $249 or something like that, but I'm interested because Google, I think they can do it. Google's a big search engine. Google has become one of America's best tech companies. But I'm really interested to see if they go through with this. And if they go through with this, how does it work? What do they make for phones,
Are they going to go through this, or are they bitten off too much they can chew type of deal? I mean, they get too problems. These companies, they get too huge that they start biting off more they can chew, where they start going downhill after that.
Well, I don't think Google can. I find it hard to say that Google can bite off more than they can chew because they're such a huge company. I don't know. I've never gone to Google. I know it's in Kansas somewhere, but they probably have the resources to hire the people they need to make this happen. It's just going to be interesting to see how long they take to make this happen because technology moves so fast now.
Exactly, and
they might have something going, and then something else will come out, and then they'll be behind. So I would be really interested. And the thing about cell phone service is that, as my laptop shuts off on me, it's really interesting, I think, because the cell phone service, there's the two carriers, Verizon, AT&T. T-Mobile is trying to stick out there, and then you have everyone else. And I wonder, would Google be good enough to be better than everyone else, or would Google still be,
I think I agree with you. I think Google is going to have a harder time trying to get back up to Verizon standards and AT&T standards, because right now there's a lot of people are buying just those two phones because they're the number one carriers.
Mm-hmm.
And look what happens with T-Mobiles and everybody else. They're just barely hanging in there just to survive.
Well, T-Mobile almost just got bought out by AT&T. That deal fell through, but that almost happened, and that shows to how big the two cell phone carriers are. Verizon has bought out companies by itself, and Sprint also is. That's a company I forgot about. They're
hanging in there barely.
They're hanging in there. I think Sprint has the better product of the three, but they just don't have enough service everywhere because they're a smaller company. And it's how will a web search company compete with these big companies in a totally different place? It's different when you add in text messaging, calling, and all that, and cell phones. It's totally different than.
According to this article I read on BGR, Boy Genius Report, they have teamed up with, or have held talks with the Dish Network. So I'm wondering if they're going to use satellite as a satellite carrier too.
I don't think that would work as well. Plus, Dish is. I have my own opinions
Dish,
on Dish.
you know, I mean,
but
over the satellite signal as a satellite phone, more or less, for instead of an actual carrier per se.
It might, but that I'm just interested to see what it is. I'm just interested to see how that works. So,
yeah, I'm interested in kind of see how this will turn out ourselves, and good luck to them. I mean, hopefully they can make it. They've proven in the past that they were the underdogs, and they've come out to be number one. Look, they've outbeaten Yahoo and MSN.
Yahoo still exists.
Yahoo still exists, and MSN.
Okay.
MSN now is Bing, but it still exists. So I mean, they've outbeat them, and they're still going strong.
Okay. So what do you got next on your list, man? What do you got here?
iPad Mini.
iPad Mini.
Is it worth the $300 they're going to be pricing it?
The price of the iPad Mini, it looks like it's $329, which is kind of pricey, but for an Apple product, you know, Apple is some of the priciest products out there. It's just, it depends on what you like. I personally have an iPad 2 right here, you know, and I like it. But do you think I would want an iPad Mini? No, I wouldn't want an iPad Mini. And it's the thing about, you know, there's an iPod Touch. It's like right in the middle, which for some people might be good, but I don't like it. I personally don't like the iPad Mini at all. I would not want one.
Me neither. I mean, I'm just happy with my little iPod Touch I have over there. iPad Mini, to me, I think it's kind of stupid for or Apple to even get into this market. Because Amazon's doing just fine with the Kindle
Fire
and Google again has the Nexus.
But then again, Apple has this sort of cult following of people who will see an Apple product and will buy it, not because they want it, because it's an Apple product. They will buy it whether it's the best thing in the world or the worst thing ever, just because it's an Apple product. And
exactly.
That is tapping into the market of, you know, the Kindle Fire. That is tapping in right to that market because
it's a 7.9-inch screen. I mean, that's what Kindle is.
And even the original, the iPad, now they're getting some competition from these tablet companies that are coming up. And we're going to get into Windows 8 later, but Windows 8 has some amazing tablets and tablets that are laptops too. And I think Apple's starting to fall behind a little bit because since Steve Jobs has unfortunately passed, where's that creativeness coming from? Now, what have they come out with lately? They've come out with an iPhone 5 that Google Maps would say if you wanted to go to the grocery store, Google Maps would send you to, you know, someplace in Tennessee or Florida, you know, someplace totally opposite of where you wanted to go.
Apple Maps would send you off some place to some United States when you really didn't want to go in the first place. And I agree with you totally that since Steve Jobs died, the creativity for Apple is just gone. And the thing is,
they haven't had it. They've come out with the Retina display is nice, but they haven't come. You know, Apple is that groundbreaking company I'm young, so I don't have as much of a history of it, but, you know, Apple comes out with the iPod, Apple comes out with this, and Steve Jobs really wasn't the guy doing the tech stuff behind it, but he was the guy who would go to the people and be like, do this, do that, and without that, where was that motivation to have, you know, that wow factor? And I haven't seen that wow factor from Apple lately. And
me neither. I've been involved with Apple ever since Apple II, and finally it's just the wow factor's not there at all with these new iPad minis. And also I wanted to touch a little bit on the Apple iPad 4. Unfortunately for all you Apple Pad 3 users, they have discontinued the line completely. There is no more Apple 3. They're not even selling them anymore.
Where did you hear that again? I just wondered where you heard that.
If you look up Apple Apple's site. They also the Apple press release. They did that.
Did they? Okay, I'm just
back last month when I covered this. The new Apple iPad 4 will be the only iPad out there. They won't cover anything more than that, which is going to be the same size as the iPad 2 and same size as everything. I know
I'm just I'm wondering because it's strange for Apple to discontinue something that quick, and
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just wondering if maybe the iPad 3 was released too quickly, and they're finding out that they had problems with it. So
that's a problem with Apple, though. They always release stuff too quickly. You know, one of the iPhones that came out, I don't know which one it was, but it had so many tech.
4.
Was it the 4? Yeah.
So iPad 4 or the GS, one of them.
Because Apple wants to get that product out so quickly, so they can have their cult following buy the stuff, and they want to make it's the quality versus quantity type of thing. They're not releasing great quality for
the only difference between the 4 is going to be its Retina display. The same.
You're paying for just a Retina display, which is kind of it's baloney.
Yeah,
it's baloney sandwiches, and and I see it now. Apparently the iPad 3 has been discontinued because it's more expensive to make. So. And plus, they released the iPad, 1 year apart from an iPad 2 and an iPad 3? So my iPad works fine. I wasn't planning on going to buy an iPad.
See, iPad 3 was released in March, and in October they had the newest one. So a few months later, another iPad, which shocked a lot of us consumers and tech reporters that they were going to release it so quickly.
Right. Well, so closing up on this topic here, what do you think of the iPad mini? Is it worth the $300?
To me, no. I would not buy it. I wouldn't personally buy it, but if you want an iPad that you can't afford, if you can't afford the $500-600, but you want an iPad, go ahead and buy it because it's no difference than its bigger brother.
I personally wouldn't buy the iPad mini, but if you don't have a normal iPod or an iPad and you're looking to go up to the iPad and iPod, it's a great idea. If you want to go and just get that thing, if you don't want the small, because there are some people, because I hate the iPods, the small iPods, because I'm a big person, so the iPad is perfect size for me. But if you want something that's kind of small, but not as small as the iPod Touch, go for the iPad mini. So
it's definitely, it depends on who you are type of deal.
So what do you